Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to wrap up the Misfits Racing League action. This week, of course, we've been taken to Mexico for all of our league racing action. But this is, of course, our Formula 2 division. And joining me today, last minute call, Alex Bido had something that made it a little bit busy. So, of course, tonight we have Mr. J.A. Games. J.A., how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm absolutely fine today, Unicorn. Ready for some F2 action around Mexico after a wonderful week of racing. So hopefully they can cap off a wonderful week.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been action-packed from the get-go here so far around Mexico. We'll have a quick look at the track. 17 turns, 2.6 miles, 3 DRS zones, down into turn 1, down into turn 4. Plenty of overtaking through there. We've seen a bit of side-by-side as well at the end of those. 4 or 5 in these F2 cars. That could be, really, really action-packed. Of course, we're at the tail end of the season. This is round 20 of Misfits Racing League action. We've got 2 rounds left. We've got Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Obviously, we will go to those in the F2 cars in the following weeks, but the countdown has started. We are just a few moments away from getting into the one-shot qualifying, and we'll see who this lands on. I do believe last week, James, it was you who had the pleasure of being under the lights in Japan. Oh, USA, sorry. It was
USA, yeah.
It was America last week. Japan was 2 weeks ago.
Indeed. Well, let's see who gets that privilege today. And I'll obviously let you take us through the lap, Unicorn, when it finally happens.
Well, it's looking sunny. We have seen a little bit of rain throughout the week. There's not a huge grid tonight here in F2. Usually we see a little bit more of a populated grid. We are expecting a few people to be watching the football at the same time. The usual suspects who we might see here in the F2 grid. But once everyone's loaded in, got their setups ready, we'll be underway. And, well, Linus is loaded. Jose Manuel has loaded as well. We're just seeing those ticks appear next to everyone's names on the right-hand side. And then, of course, one-shot qualifying, 1 lap to get it right. And around Mexico, quite often, drivers need more than 1 lap to get it right. It is very, very easy to invalidate around here, especially through that SS section 7 through 11. Those turns particularly tricky. We've seen a few invalidations, cutting one of the first 3 turns. It's Freeware, and he's someone who's invalidated multiple times in qualifying, and that was over in Tier 1, of course, on Thursday night. Well, he's a full-time Alpha Tauri driver, but it is Freeware today in what looks like the high-tech. It is Nikita Mazepin's car. And he is flying down towards turn 1. There's a monumental start-finish straight here. Down into the first corner he goes. And you can see they're using a lot less of the curb than you would in the F1 car. Here in the F2 car, a little bit narrower through out of turn 3. Using a bit of the curb on the exit, though. DRS enabled once again. This time down towards turn 4. A brilliant overtaking spot here. Inside and outside works. Obviously, Freeway here hitting the apex through turn 4, lining himself up nicely for 5, using the exit curbing there, just enough to not avoid a penalty. Gets through the double right-hander of 6, uses the exit curbing again, keeping it in the right lines. Now into the SS section. If we're going to see an invalidation, this is where you would expect to see it. Uses all of the inside through 8, and now coming through out of 10 into 11, and he's got through there nicely and cleanly as well. Third and final, DRS straight into turn 12. A little bit of a shorter run. He gets it through there nicely. Less overtaking through there, but it is still possible. Now the hairpin at turn 13 into 14 and 15. Into the final 2 corners, 16 there and 17. This long right-hander that just shotguns you out onto the line. It's Brain Stew on pole. Freeware just behind him by 700ths. And we'll see what the rest of the times are. But a clean lap from Freeware gets him 2nd place alongside, I think it was Brainstew on the front row. A few disqualifications there coming out at the bottom of the screen. But it is Brainstew. The Italian sits on pole and picks up the first 4 points of the evening for that. Freeware starts 2nd. Back row starts 3rd. Maka in 4th. Then we have Civics in 5th. Linus in 6th. And then Williams off the pace at 128 flat, but to get 7th because Jack 5, Domi, Jose Manuel, and Polypunk all failed to set a lap time here. 11 drivers today. And we'll see how they go here around Mexico. Any predictions James, before we get into this? I know you've been, seen a few of these races. You've been in a race or two this week around
Yeah,
Mexico.
I would say it's obviously going to be about what wings you're running, because I think the run down to turn one is going to be the most powerful overtaking spot as we have seen this week. So we'll see if I can't remember who got pole.
Brain
Brain
stew.
stew. Brain stew. Brain stew got pole. I mean, whether you can hold off the field. I mean, Freeware's going to be up there. It's Domi, Freeware, Brain stew. They're all going to probably be fighting for the win. Just hopefully we get some good racing in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to see a strong start here. Get that run down into turn one. Get yourself up the inside there. And try and find a way through. But the outside as well, it can work quite nicely. And as such, you sometimes see 3 wide. We've got 3 seconds on the clock. And then, obviously, there shouldn't be a formation lap. Here, we've had it once. But here we are. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 lights here on in Mexico. For the F2 racing. And his lights out and away we go. Brain Stew gets away pretty nicely in comparison to Freeway. You can see him losing out there. Down the back, Civics losing places. And dropping like a stone. Maka, Linus, they're side by side as they go down towards someone. You can see it fanning out behind Brain Stew. Freeware's there in second. And then it's Linus back row as well on the inside there. Freeware very deep, it looks like. And Freeware's actually dropped off a huge amount. There he is. Linus wide though. And Freeware, what a run he's got here. Might able to get back into P2. Gets back P3. Here's Williams on the outside of Domi as they come through into turn 4. It's 3 wide here. Domi around the outside, and there's a spin for the Univirtuosi. He collects Jose Manuel into his side as well. There's a 5-second penalty for Domi, a little bit unfair given that he'd already spun. Going back up to where the fighting is at. Freeware, Linus side by side as they come through into the Estes section for the first time this race. And look at the gap that Brain Stew has secured up at the top. 2.6 seconds already, and we didn't even see that from Ben the Bear this morning in APAC, so... Great race start from him. Maka now. Great run on Freeware down into turn 12. Does he pull the trigger? No, he doesn't. Waits patiently. Always the mark of a good driver here. But he might get him up the inside into the hairpin here. He scares Freeware. Forces Freeware a little wide. But that might just slow them both down as they have to avoid one another. So far, so good for most of these drivers.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean start. I mean, like I said, Brain Stew's already got a massive gap on the field. We've got Freeware in second, who's also now got a big gap on Linus due to the fighting going on. We've got Maka and Linus fighting down into turn 1 now. Maka on the outside, he's going to get the move done. He's got it done. It looks like he's going to be... Yeah, he's through turn 2 and 3, so that's put Maka into third. He's also one of the leaders in the championship for F2. He's been very consistent this season. So that's a good, very important move for Maka now. Hopefully he can pull away, because obviously pulling away is very important to just get out of the DRS train down into turn 1. But
Yeah,
there's some good racing going on in this middle park. I mean, we'll see if Freeware can catch on Brain Stew, but obviously people don't know the rules. You can't pit until lap 3 to do the mandatory stop. You can't do it under virtual safety car, but if we get a safety car and we've got a yellow flag and it's Freeware. Freeware's gone off.
Well,
in the S's.
Where's his car? Oh, he's back on track now, and he's got a huge portion of front wing damage. And like you said, he can't pit now if he wants to do the mandatory stop, so he might have to go around a lap here. There's cars struggling for position here as he's slowing down into turn 12. He's looking for it. Jack 5 picks up a penalty. He's down in 11th place right now, but it's side by side for Freeware. You can see that Williams just loses out. I think that's the bollard, not a piece of debris. But Williams and Civics now, they've been forced side by side as they come through the last couple of corners. You've got Domi Polypunk. Freeware's in. He is not happy with that wing damage. He is going to get that replaced before going around another lap. But it's 3 wide here between Civics, Domi, and Williams. I do believe you got Jose Manuel as well there. You got Polypunk behind them. There's a lot of cars here. Domi's ahead as they go down into turn 1. Civics, Williams, they're still side by side. Here's Civics later on the brakes, looking for it through the inside on turn 2. Puts him on the outside for turn 3 and just gives him the run he needs. But now Williams coming back at him brilliantly right now. And just getting past onto P6. Can he hold on, though, as they go down into turn 4? I think he is ahead. And Jose Manuel, well, around the outside of 4, it's one of my favorite moves on this track. And he does find it on the inside of 5. Into 6 now. They go later on the brakes for the Campos. And past he is. Does Civics lose another place here to Polypunk? Yes, he does. But he's on the inside as they go down into turn 7. Does he hold on here? It's still side by side. It's Yuki Tsunoda's Carlin. Obviously, he was promoted to the AlphaTauri this season, but now his F2 car doing pretty well, but it does lose out to Civics there. Civics gets back into P8, but loses a whole host of time to the cars in front. And that is not what you want to be doing here. As Linus has a little bit of a look on the inside of the hairpin. There's not room there. And as such, Domi, well, what a charge he's been having here. Linus, well, going off the track there to try and stay with him, and definitely picked up a warning for that one, but it is going to be side by side for the pair of them. And that is back row into the pit. So, and he picks up 5 seconds as well. So, very unfortunate for him. Freeway picks up a warning, but it's a snap to the line as Domi Linus go down towards turn 1. And here goes the move from Linus in the Carlin. And he does not find it there. So, very, very action-packed in this opening portion of the race.
Yeah, that was incredible racing by all 5 drivers involved, and wow, what it's the great action we've seen all week at Mexico. And these guys, you know, it's a small grid, but they're putting on a show so far. Domi, of course, the big winner in the end from all that, and back row actually pitted, so he's done his mandatory stop. Hopefully, the undercut's as powerful as it has been shown to be in the F1 races this week, but the 5-second penalty is not going to help that at the end of the day. But it was absolutely fantastic racing so far. Only 4 laps in.
Yeah,
Linus, 20-lap race.
A little wide there, really putting himself, you know, out in the open. Lets Jose Manuel past, and like you say, early stages. There's 20 laps here in Mexico. It's one of the highest, if not the highest, lap count we've seen in the F2, and it is, you know, a fairly long, grueling race in comparison to some of the others. 20 laps are on the same track. We're going to go again, of course, for the sprint race after this one, and now things starting to separate out a little bit. We'll see whether Williams can do anything here about Linus as they run down into turn 1. You can see the rear wing there open on Williams's car, but not able to catch the Carlin yet, and things starting to spread themselves out a little bit. Williams, 3-second time penalty there. Penalties already on the board for a lot of these drivers. It is easy here to pick them up. Jose Manuel, well, he is catching big time to Domi in P3. And Williams as well doing a similar thing to Linus there in the Carlin.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Williams is the closest battle with Linus, so we'll see how that plays out in the next couple of laps. But I guess it's going to be who pulls the trigger on the pit stops first, because they'll have the if they don't come in at the same time, there'll be a big advantage for the one who does pull that trigger. But Williams now 6 tenths behind. Maybe he can get a run into turn 1 if they do go around again for another lap. It's intense, very, very intense battle, this one. It's for 5th place. Got Joe Manuel just ahead of Jose Manuel just ahead of them as well. So I think you might, I think Linus is just out of reach for the DRS, but he's actually chasing down Domi. So he might have a move on Domi down into turn 1. He's got the DRS on him and he's within 2 tenths. In fact, this looks like it could be a done deal. Domi's right on the inside. Jose swings wide to take the wide turn into turn 1. Who will give? No one. Jose Manuel's got it. He's got it under traction out of turn 1 through turn 2. Domi has the inside into turn 3. He's picked up a 3-second time penalty for all that, but he has maintained the position so far as the drag race down to turn 4. Will Domi hold on? Jose Manuel's got DRS into the braking zone. Still no one's giving. Domi's holding on to the position. He's fighting for dear life here. Jose Manuel wide on the outside. He's going to have a run now through the hairpin maybe. Still keeping it tight. Oh my word. Oh my word, Domi's done it. Wonderful. Wonderful defence there by Domi. Under pressure from Jose Manuel, who can't quite get that 3rd place.
Yeah, brilliant side-by-side action, but you've got to say, you know, at what cost, because Domi's got that penalty already. And bringing other people into this fight rather than, you know, just trying to run away with it. Linus picks up a 3 seconds, so starting to take the edge out of that penalty. As I think that's Brainstew in. It is. Brainstew's in. So he's going to go from the super softs to the softs. He started on the purple compound tire. whereas everyone else here on the softs, they're going to have to stay out a little longer. But they should be faster than the Italian on tyres, at least, at the end of things. Brainstew and Maka, like you alluded to earlier, are sort of locked in for a little bit of a championship battle here. Civics on the rear of Williams. They're past Brainstew here. Brainstew's probably going to come out behind Jack 5 and Polypunk. There, and he does. Jose Manuel not able to get a move here. Does Civics find anything on the inside of turn 1? Yes, he does. Very late on the brakes, but just about gets it turned in time. And a great move there for him. And he will slot himself up a position there. Although Williams looking all over his rear wing, trying to find a way back past. And has he gone for it up the inside here? He doesn't. And as such, Civics able to hang on to P5 for now. But here comes Williams into turn 6, the double right-hander. There's not a lot of space there, but Civics leaves it, knowing that he can get the traction around the outside, and does. But it is close between these two on lap 7 here. Jose Manuel and Domi, they're still locked in combat. Not Linus is just in between. Both of these fights not really involved in either one. He's closing in, though, on that battle for P2, and maybe even a podium for himself.
Indeed, I think the podium spots, it's all going to come down to whether Jose Manuel can keep the penalties down, because like I said, Domi's on 8 seconds, that's going to hurt him at the end. Also getting into the battle has dragged him back into the pack with Linus and Civic and Williams. I would say Brainstew has got very lucky where he dropped in the field after his pit stop. He had a nice 3-second cushion to really pump in the laps without any traffic, while he's got to try and get the undercut working on Maka, who's still out there, leading by 8 seconds on his softs. So it's going to be a close battle to the end, I can see, for the win by the looks of it.
Domi looking to try and find his way back past Jose Manuel, and a lunge up the inside into turn 4, doesn't quite get it. A little bit of contact between the two cars. Domi now looking for traction out of turn 5, and now up the inside of the double right-hander of 6. He's looking for it near the outside, though. Much better place for traction in there. Domi finds that one out as he loses a lot of time to the Campos ahead. Coming out of turn 6. Still though, close between the two.
Big snap there by Domi. It's giving Jose Manuel a nice full tenths cushion. But obviously Domi will be charging back now if he's
Brainstew. What a move from him around the outside of Jack 5. A little bit of contact between and Jack 5's around.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Jack 5. It's not having the best of races. I think he had an incident in the first lap as well that dropped him back, but the American driver is soldiering on in 9th at the moment, so hopefully he can still get a point from all this. But he still has to make his pit stop. And all that. Domi's making a big lunge now on the outside of Jose Manuel into turn 1. He's got the move done early before we even reached turn 1, so that's good for Domi now. Whether we can hold off Jose Manuel through turn 3, 4 and 5 and try and get a gap on line. Oh, he's gone wide. He's gone wide out of 3, and he's basically giving Jose Manuel a chance to get it back at him now already. Oh dear, this is not going well for Domi. He's really struggling here by the looks of it. And in fact, he's gone wide in turn 4, and Jose Manuel's got the place back. So Domi back down to 3rd. And Jose Manuel takes that 2nd spot, still with no penalties, so he's having a wonderful race so far.
Yeah, Brainstew coming through as well.
I think in all this, we've not noticed that Linus is there stalking in the background waiting. He's ready and waiting to take the position maybe. He's doing very well, just sat there, just in range.
Absolutely, Brainstew's just hunting them down now. He's got a lot of pace on these fresh tyres. And it won't be too long until we see the pit lane fly open for the guys on the softs as well. They'll be going, a few more laps than this. Right now, probably at least 4 more. You would well, at least 3 more. You can get an undercut around here, so maybe a couple pit a lap or 2 early. Brainstew, there it is for first flop best lap of the session. Fastest lap is the word we're trying to get out. It's Linus on the inside of Domi now. Domi, like you said, appears to be struggling in that Univirtuosi car and just doesn't have anything to give down into turn 1. Civics, Williams, they exchange. And they're right behind Polypunk there, but it is Civics getting ahead as they come through turns 1, 2, and 3. And the SMP racing car drops down a position. Domi hungry for the place back on Linus, looking for it on the inside of 5. A little bit of contact. And once again, we see Linus just driving. Oh, Domi's lost it. Domi's lost the car. And not only has he lost the car, he's lost an end plate off of that car as well. Just a collision with Linus there. Very, very unfortunate. Lucky there not to cause Linus any damage. Otherwise, Linus definitely would not have been happy with that one. But see there, just losing the control of the car. And now, with that damage, Brainsu's here. He's forcing the move. And force it he does. Gets through the Italian absolutely flying now.
I was about to say that Brainstew literally just rocked up on this battle just as Domi unfortunately spun and ran into Linus, so I was hoping he wasn't going to get caught up in the mess, and he seems to have managed to get out of that. But I can't imagine Brainstew was feeling too great at certain points there, because he just needs to keep it pointing in the right direction now, and he should hopefully pick up the win. But I think he's dispatched Linus now with DRS on the front straight. But man, unfortunate for Domi, who's actually stayed out. So I guess he's just going to run until the tyres are at the thing. In fact, Domi with a big lunge around the outside of Linus, but he's just really struggling out there at the moment, unfortunately, Unicorn.
Yeah, absolutely. Here he goes again up the inside. It's a big lock up there for the Hungarian. And as such, loses out to the Carlin once more. But now, does he have to run into turn 6? He's later on the brakes there, forcing Linus to take the outside line. Domi is through, and he is costing himself here a lot of time. Brainstew has 3 seconds of penalties as well now. Domi off the line there. You can see him just on the completely wrong side of the white painted line at the edge of the track, but subsequently he has gained a little bit of time to Linus as well. It won't be too long till we see him in the pit. He'll probably try and go for the undercut just so he can get that front wing changed as well. Brainstew, though, with this penalty, does he lose out to Maka when all things considered? You know, Maka has to pit again. Brainstew's catching here, but Maka will be faster at the end. These are the 2 drivers who are going for that title fight. 351 points to Maka, Brainstew 321. We've got 3 rounds left. There's plenty of points on the table, though, so it wouldn't work out as neatly as if, you know, it was an F1 race. We would have 78 points on the table, but obviously you've got the points for fastest laps. You've got the points for both the races, and of course the 4 points for qualifying as well. And Brainstew already put 4 there under his belt, so he's closed the gap already this evening to Maka. And he'll be very happy that he's done so here. Domi, Linus, they came in for the super softs. I think Freeway might have come in last lap as well for his next set to try and just find some pace on the cars in front. But we are at a little bit of a, you know, a stalemate point in the race. Everyone's gone into the pits. Everyone's sort of thinned out a bit. We'll have to wait until the new pit stops come through to get everyone in. There goes Freeway at 125.6, fastest lap of the race. If you're just tuning in, welcome. This is Misfits Formula 2 here in Mexico, rounding out our week of Mexican Grand Prix action here at the Misfits. And obviously most of our action there held over on the Twitch. So be sure you're following on twitch.tv/MisfitsRL. As well as here, subscribe, and if you could like the stream, always helps us out a ton. And it is really very much appreciated. And of course, a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, or motion sim, be sure to check them out on their website. Link is down in the description down below. That being said, Brainstew, well, he is catching Jose Manuel, and he is catching fast. As track 5 picks up another penalty, and Polypunk swings into the pit lane. Civics follows him in. Williams, well, he's staying out once more, gets their places. And Jack 5 spinning into the pit lane.
Yeah, there's another sad moment for Jack 5 there. He's having a bit of a tough afternoon of it so far in Mexico, but there is a sprint race, so you can certainly redeem yourself straight away here. Unfortunately, Brainstew is looking like he is hunting down Jose and Maka already, so I guess Maka's only hope now is a safety car. As I think someone's retired in the pits.
I don't think so. There's a yellow flag.
Maybe
Not
not.
sure why.
Was a yellow flag? Yeah.
There goes
Alright,
Brains
well.
Stew. Looking at the inside of turn 12. Does he find the move on Jose Manuel? It looks like he does. It's a great move. Just perfectly executed there from the Italian.
Yeah,
And he's in that number one car. And he's going for the number
in the
one
zone
position.
today. Sorry, Nicole, he is definitely in the zone today. He's cutting back through this field as everyone on this soft now is coming to pit. Mack is coming to pit. Jose's come to pit. I assume Williams will be in this lap as well and running the super softs to the end. So we'll see if any of them can come back on Brain Stew.
Well, it's a huge time. A mountain they have to climb here. As I think that's freeware has been lapped by Brain Stew there. Maka now out. And you can see, well, super softs are of course faster than 6-lap old softs. I don't think they're 3 seconds a lap faster for the next 6 laps, because that's really what you've got to find. It's actually more than that, but just for the sake of keeping it a round number, that is absolutely monstrous, the lead that Brain Stew's got. Linus, he's in DRS range of his teammate here. Polypunk in 4th right now, and it's been pretty strong race so far for Polypunk, and penalty free means that seems to have a nice result. Brain Stew does have a penalty, worth pointing that one out, and if Maka can claw into that gap, maybe we see something. But right now, Brain Stew's pace, like you said, very much in the zone, very much focused on what he has to do here. Does Williams find Jack 5 here? They're close on track right now for P8. And this is a very coveted spot in these races. You want to finish P8 if you're not going to get many points, because that way, your pole position for the sprint race. A great way to redeem yourself is getting P8.
Yeah, definitely. We're going back to the penalty situation. Obviously, Jack has 14 seconds of penalties compared to Williams' 9, so Williams really just needs to sit within Jack's window, and he should get the place either way. Not to ruin the battle, but that's why I say penalties are very important around here. You know, it's easy to pick them up, but if you can minimise them, you can really profit from it at the end of the race. That's where we're winding down here. Just 5 laps left. As you said, Brain Stew is putting on a masterclass. He worked his way back through that field wonderfully, and totally deserves to be in the position he's in. We've got Maka, who seems a pretty safe P2 at the moment. Maybe he can try and get the fastest lap of the bonus points that gives. And we've got Jose Manuel in 3rd. So they're having a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, very, very strong stuff. Let's have a look at how the positions have changed in this one, because there has been quite a lot of shuffling. Brain Stew, well, he qualified first. He's sitting pretty at the top right now. He's losing a tiny bit of time to Maka behind, but really not going to make a dent in the Italians' evening. Maka, he is up 2 places, though. It's been a great run so far from him in that Prima Motorsport car. He needs to just damage mitigation. How many points can he stop Brain Stew from gaining on him in the last 3 races? Or last 6 races, I should say, because we do 2 every week. This week, obviously, no different. This is the feature race. We'll be in the sprint race in a few moments' time. Then, Jose Manuel, well, he's up 7 places, as is Polypunk behind him. A great start to the evening for these 2 drivers, making a lot of positions, capitalizing on those early mistakes from other drivers. Linus, well, he's up 1 place right now in the other Carlin. Civics, first of the losers, down 1 place into 6th. Still a good result, though, and gives you a strong finish, a starting point from the next race. Domi is in 7th right now, the Hungarian, up 2 places, didn't set a lap time in qualifying. Now, penalties are coming in, but, you mentioned Jack 5. A lot of penalties there. He is 8th place right now where he started. Wasn't always that way. Had a bit of a bad start, bit of a rocky start to the evening. Now the penalties are still with him, but his pace has sort of found him a foothold elsewhere. Civics is catching Linus, actually. I wonder whether we're going to see a bit of an exchange here. I think Linus might have made a mistake. And then, of course, the bottom 3 there. Williams down 2. Back row down 7. And Freewell, after that spin through the S's, down 9 places. Really struggling right now. Back looking at the tyres. You can see there, everyone but Brain Stew on super softs. Freeware, well, he's trying to take his tyres a long distance. 8 laps already on the super softs. There goes back row, a 125.5. Fastest lap of the race so far, and he'll be happy with that. He is P10, so he should score that point. And that's not what we want to see, the controller disconnecting, but getting it re-established. The Civics closing in on Linus here, a little bit getting within that window, but I don't know if the pace is there. Just needs to stay within the penalty window, James.
Yeah, Linus just picked up another 3, so that's unfortunate for Linus. But if he want to get it done on track, he's definitely got a chance down into turn 1 here. Depends if you can just keep it in a nice window through the stadium section. He's right on the back of him at the moment. Williams has picked up a 3 second, which is going to help Jack actually. So he's only 5 seconds difference now. Let's see what happens here as we go down to tier 1. I think Linus is definitely under pressure for his P5 as they head down to turn 1. The DRS is going to be open very soon. He's right on the back of him. This looks like a good chance of getting the move done.
Well, Freeway's just called it quits in the pit lane, and there goes the move. As easy as you like, Pacifics. Nothing really too, special, unorthodox about that one. Just a basic DRS open, and it'll also get it down into turn 4 too.
Yeah, he just needs to try and run away now, because obviously Linus can repay the favour the next lap if he can keep within range, but definitely a good drive by Siffy. He's got the penalty advantage as well, so that's always going to give the driver that little bit of confidence in their mind that, even if they lose position, unfortunately they can get it back through penalties. Well, as always, you do want to just have the move done on the track. So we'll see now. This is a good battle as they head back through the S's again towards the stadium section. Linus is still within that window, but he is dropped back a bit through the S's, so he's kind of struggling a bit through there. But he's going to have DRS. Well, he's got DRS now, and he's going to have DRS down into turn 1, which is vital. So hopefully he can maybe get a move as they head down into turn 1 now. What do you think, Unicorn? Think he's going to get the move done?
Well, he definitely seems to be struggling a little bit here for pace, but DRS very, very powerful around here. Into turn 1, I think he's too far back. You can see the Civics running away a bit, but turn 4 definitely on there. Maybe a little bit late on the brakes. Into turn 4, we could see that kind of move. You get reeled in here as we see the Colin get very, very close. Civics there doesn't get the move down into turn 1, but again, he will have DRS now out of turn 3. He just needs a good result or a good exit here, which he sort of gets, and now DRS, it would be a late move if he does get one, but a move nonetheless. I think he's too far back, and he is. He's about 50 meters behind there as they come into sector 2. I think that's Freeware's car just rejoining the track. That's costing us the yellow flag. I think Freeware, they're just saving his tyres for the next race.
It was actually, I think, Domi who spun.
Oh.
Domi's spun and is behind Williams now. Williams is in that coveted 8th spot. Jack 5 is in 7th, so at the moment I think Jack 5 is due to inherit 8th spot and the pole for the sprint race. He did tell me he had a Dr. Pepper. I'm sure he'll be enjoying that if he does get that pole for the sprint race, because that's a wonderful position to avoid the badness.
Yeah, you don't want to be in and amongst the pack on that huge run down to turn 1. Linus here, I don't know whether he's got DRS. He's really dancing on that 1 second window. He's gained a little bit through the last corner, but that won't mean anything. Well, he does. He does have DRS. Do Civics ahead. But it's not going to be enough to get the move done into turn 1 once more. He needs to make sure he's close when he comes out of that final corner. He's only got 1 lap left after this one. So, 1 and a bit. And, well, here he's a lot closer coming out of 3.
Yeah, so, I mean, Siffy's doing a wonderful job just keeping the gap just far enough, and Linus did get a bit wide out of 3 there, which is going to help this as we go back around towards turn 5, 6 and the hairpin. It's basically like Linus really needs to just keep it close through the S's. I mean, he has that little DRS zone that's going to like drag him a bit closer through up to the stadium section, but if you can keep a nice close gap through the S's, not easy under dirty air, especially with the F2 cars. He definitely can have a run down to turn 1, but you can see already he's lost almost a second just through there. But Siffy's picked up 3 seconds, so that's basically dropped back, giving Linus a bit more hope. This is definitely the closest battle we've got going on at the moment, Unicorn. I mean, it's going to probably go to the line here, I would imagine.
Yeah.
See if anyone makes a mistake.
That 3 second time penalty there for Civic shouldn't play too much of a role into anything. He's not within 3 seconds of Polypunk. He's not, level with Linus now, but of course a spin now would cost him. I mean, whereas he might have been able to get back into the 3-second window of Linus, or 6 seconds, sorry. Now it would only be a 3-second window, but things very much spaced out here on lap 20. Brainstew, well, he's absolutely romping home. He's nearly finished his lap. He's up into sector 3 already. And he's 3.5 tenths down on his previous best lap time, but you can't fault him for that, and you can't really fault him for his performance here, apart from the 3-second time penalty as he comes through now. Out of turn 14 and 15 into 16 and through 17. Brainstew, the Italian, from pole to a win by 20 seconds. That's the second a lap he has gained there on his rivals. A great result for him. And Linus really dropping off the back there of Civics. You can see on the timing tower. Maka, Brainstew's championship rival. No penalties, but it won't matter at the end of the day. He is too far behind his Italian rival. The Prima Motorsport driver comes across the line in second place. And joining them on the podium will be Jose Manuel. He is, had a great drive here. A great number of positions gained. And a well-deserved podium for the Campos Racing driver. Polly Punk, 3 seconds of penalties. But again, not affecting the finishing order here. I think that's only going to really play a factor in the last few positions. Civics is going to beat Linus. This is an interesting fight here. Jack 5 Williams, it may look like it's massive amounts of time between the two of them. It's a 5-second gap between them on penalties. It's a 4.7 gap as they come into the final sector. 4.8, 4.7. It's going to be close here. Although I think it's all over for Jack as they come out in the final corners. Jack crosses the line in 7th, and there we go. Williams gets him half a second to the good there. Domi spun on the line, and I saw that happen last season for Domi in an F1 car. This season it's happened in an F2 car. And it's 10th place for Domi.
It kind of summed up his day, unfortunately. There it was not the best race. It's certainly one I want to remember, but going back to Brainstew, what an absolute masterclass of a drive. Thoroughly deserved winner. Maka still very solid P2, just keeping that championship going. And Jose Manuel in 3rd. Is that his first race in F2?
I want to say yes. I don't want to insult him. That's
the thing. Either way, absolutely fantastic drive.
Driver of the day on a podium. Brilliant result for the Spaniard there. I want to say he's been in one before, actually. I'm not 100%. We do have a lot of, Misfits races come through here in the F2 series. It's open to anyone in the Discord, of course, but I can't say, I've seen him around before. I don't think we have. I want to say he is the 77th driver. We've had 76 before this. I want to say it's the 77th here. I think everyone else, apart from maybe, I don't know if Jack 5's ever driven here either, but a great first race of the evening here in Mexico. We'll be in the sprint race shortly, obviously with less laps and the reverse front 8. Yeah, so very, very interesting. Stick around for that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're just tuning in, welcome. It's the Misfits Formula 2 racing action, rounding out our week of Mexico Grand Prix. We do this every week, even at tracks that don't host an F2 race typically. It's looking a little bit cloudy here in the second race, so we'll see if we do see a little bit of rain towards the end of this one. Obviously, it's a little bit shorter. Chances are a little bit lower. But thank you all so much for watching. A massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, will stand or motion sim, check them out in the link down in the description below. But now, the countdown timer, final 5 seconds before we go for the race start here in the sprint race. We've just had the feature race. Noel has just left the session. I don't think he had a car, as we got 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Mexico for the second time this evening. And it's lights out and away we go. It's Jack 5 on pole. He finished 8th place. Can he hold this down into turn 1 already? Civics again having a bad start, but it's Jack 5 getting overtaken already by Williams. There is 3 right behind them. Jose Manuel between the 2 Carlin cars. They're both on the left now as they come down into turn 1. The Universiosi of Domi is looking for it on the inside. Just a light tap to the rear of the Campos. You can see that Polypunk majorly wide. He's in the grass and dropping like a stone. And the Campos of Jose Manuel. He had a brilliant first race. He now spins and gets his car reorientated because he is well and truly out of things now. But Linus, he's trying to find the move. He didn't see Jack 5 on his inside. They both just come in. And Jack 5, he's out of this one. He's been slammed by, I think, I'm not actually sure who that was. It might have been Williams here.
I think it was Williams. Oh man, I was on the back of Williams and Linus cut across into Jack 5 unfortunately and caused a chain reaction there. Jack 5 is the big loser out of all that. Wow. Virtual safety car has been deployed here and that's unfortunate. Jose Manuel obviously spun as well during that. But wow, what an action-packed opening lap that was. Absolutely gutted for Jack 5 there. He was on pole. I was hoping he could do well. But Linus is leading now from Brainstew. Brainstew's already up to second after starting 8th. So absolutely fantastic start for him as we're back under green now after the safety car has gone back in.
And there's a lot of cars already side by side. Williams back row. Look at all of these cars. It's Williams back row side by side. Domi on the rear of them. You've got Maka there as well. Looking all this. Brainstew. He's already into lead, I think, because Linus Pitts is 3 wide, though, for Williams, Domi, and back row there. They're all fighting out for third place. Williams ahead right now, the Uni Virtuosi, but it's not going to stay like that for long. Domi's on the inside. They've both got past back row, who's now under pressure on Mackie. You can see the Prima on the inside here. He slots in behind Domi, who's going to win out here between Domi and Williams. Domi's ahead right now, and he stays that way. Can Macca find his way through? There's a yellow flag behind. What's gone on there? There's 2 cars. It looks like Eric and Sifix are off. They're struggling here. There's a glitch on the minimap as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But my goodness, this one's been a bit more dramatic in its nature. Jose Manuel, well, he's dropped down the order a great deal. Now gets around the outside of Polypunk. And now is only 1 place down on where he started. And could even be an improvement by the end of this race. We're on lap 2. We've got 14. So 12 and a bit to go as Naka looks all over the rear of Williams to try and find a way past. And there's back row as well. On the rear of the S&P Motorsport car. Can he find a way through? I think that was Williams. Very, very wide he is. Jose Manuel gets past. And where's Polypuck? He's through as well before turn 12. So, nice stuff there. You can see back row fighting it out with Maka, but doesn't find it. Jose Manuel on the inside of the hairpin. Does he find a way through? It's a bit archy-bargy here, and he doesn't quite find him. Oh, and there's contact. There is big contact for the second time today for Jose Manuel in this second race. And that is a full safety car. My goodness.
My word, Unicorn, what action we have seen here in the opening 3 laps. We have a safety car now, so I think a few drivers will be coming in for wings and maybe some change of tyres. But wow, how do you sum up that? What action? F2, baby.
The sprint race, it always garners a little bit more of a dramatic sense of events than the feature race. The feature race, everyone seems to play it safe, get themselves established, see who's around them. And then in the sprint race, hell is let loose on these drivers. Sifix, I'm assuming he called it quits in the pit lane here, but I'm not actually sure. Has he crashed at the end of the start finish straight? I think he might have done.
It possibly has.
There's a stationary marker.
I don't know. I don't know what's happened. Maybe hit. As crazy as it sounds, maybe he hit the safety car.
Possibly.
It's possible. There's someone who
right
has done
the,
that. Oh my word!
Oh, Linus is into it! Linus is hit!
Oh no!
The stationary.
Wow.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what we've just seen. Polypunk wasn't really expecting that car to be where it was, and Linus, well, he certainly wasn't, because he's not even reacted to it. He's just full send.
We are on lap 3 here, under safety car in Mexico. Wow. Brainstew leading, and he's actually pitting.
Yeah, they're getting into the pit lane. I imagine they're going to try and take super softs to the end. Maka, well, he's going to take a little bit of profit here by getting himself up into lead of things. There goes Brainstew for the super softs. I imagine Freeware and Domi are going to do the same as well. There's Domi. Freeware. He's getting a wing change by the looks of it. And as such will be held. They can't change the wing in the... At the same time, gets held a little bit as well with Williams in the pit lane, I think, there. And he went on to another set of softs, so he's not confident of getting the super softs all the way to the end, but...
Yeah, it's touch and go, but... I mean, we should have another lap of safety car. 7 laps, 8 laps. I think it's going to be touch and go. Brainstew, you know, you can roll the dice. Why not? Have a bit of fun. Maka, he's obviously going to the end of his softs, so he'll just do his best he can to hold on to Brainstew, and then towards the end he should have the tyre life over him. So we've got a very good setup here for the final race. Freeware in P4 on the softs, fresh softs I assume. So we could have a very good battle here. This 4-car battle at the front could be intense. And I don't know if this race can take any more intensity after the first 3 laps, but here we are. Just Maka following the safety car at the moment. Everyone's trying to catch up.
That is, you know, crazy. 3 laps of green flag racing, 3 cars out of this now under the safety car, and well, even that can't stop the carnage. So a very bizarre turn of events here, and you know, just crazy. According to Cific's coming across in the chat, he, you know, using the safety car as a moment to take a bit of a drink of water, pause the game, and his AI just drove straight into the back of the Mercedes AMG. So very unfortunate there, and of course, well, that's not where the rear ending stopped, because Linus ran into the back of his car. So crazy turn of events now, establishing us in a safety car, and Maka has caught it, as well as Brainstew behind him on those super softs. And well, he's going to put a huge gap between himself and the Prima Motorsport.
Someone Williams has come into the pits again, so I don't know if he's going super soft this lap, but
Yeah,
that's going to give him a lap, obviously advantage over everyone else. So we'll see if that pays off for him at the end here. It's going to be an interesting restart. There's a few strategies going on here. It's just going to come down to those final few laps, see if the tyres hold on with these super softs, and what Maka can do to try and hold back Brainstew and Domi, who really need to do whatever they can to get the gap while they have the advantage.
Well, really, I'd say you want to be doing 8 laps on the super softs, 9 at most. So they should be sort of okay with the 2, you know, cars there, and you know, 2 laps, sorry, that they've got under the safety cars with these super softs. They might even go around again here, and at that point they should be fine with super softs to the end. So I think this is a well calculated move, and I think now that we will see the safety car go around once more, given how far off Jose Manuel and Williams are. And yeah, there's no way it's getting called in now. It will be far too late. So yeah, we will be going around another time on lap 6. Green flag racing should resume on lap 7. It's been a very, very action-packed race. It'll be sort of half the race, well, a quarter of the race lost to safety car laps.
We'll see what happens with this restart. And like I said, the extra lap under the safety car has definitely helped the super soft runners get those tyres into a nice window where they should make it to the end, and hopefully have good life. See what Williams, I believe, pitted, but he seems to be shown as still on 4 lap old soft, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But he's lagging behind the field at the moment, so once he catches up, we should hopefully be going green. But I think we should be going green this lap anyway. So we can all reset Unicorn and see what this restart brings, because I'll tell you what, these fans are getting more bang for their buck so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very, very dramatic start to the race. We've got, you know, about half of it left, hopefully. Half of it under green flag racing, rather than another safety car. Everyone, though, bunched up, and as my good buddy Striff likes to say, safety cars do breed safety cars. And well, here we go. You know, you can see there, everyone warming up their tires, whilst they got a little bit of an opportunity, because they know the safety car is going to get called in. If they don't, then I'd be very, very surprised. If the safety car doesn't get pulled in, Maka already giving it a little bit of space. And
Williams is catching up now.
Yeah,
so it should be in. It should be in a minute. Yeah, there we go. Safety car in this lap. Here we go. We'll see what kind of start Maka does, whether he goes slow or whether he tries to run away in the final stadium section. But he's controlling the pace now, getting some tyre warmth in. Letting that safety car get ahead. It's going to be a crucial restart for him. He really needs to try and get a gap off the bat, and that will help him try and manage keeping Brainstew and Domi behind. And those two really need to get a move on, so it could be very, very frantic here at the front from the start. So get ready for the fireworks, people. Here we go. Over to you, Unicorn.
Well, he had that awful gearbox glitch, but he has gone now, and Brainstew was not caught sleeping. He is very much awake, and he's already looking for the move on the Prima Motorsport car. Switches to the outside. The Super Softs have given him traction. The setup is dragging him down the straight a little bit faster, but it's not just him. It's Domi as well. The Univirtuosi is on the Super Softs too. He's looking into the middle of both of them. He taps Brainstew. Brainstew keeps it pointing in the right direction and impressively stays ahead of Maka here. The Super Softs give them so much more as they come out of turn 3. Brilliant start there from both of them. Freeware, he's on fresher softs than Maka and goes for a very late break around the outside. Maka gets boxed in between the German and the Hungarian, and as such, might lose out here. Freeware, he could go late on the race into 6, doesn't, as Maka does just that. Eric, Polypunk, they're exchanging. Polypunk on the inside of turn 6. Well, he loses out in the traction zone. We see the outside on the exit of turn 6, a very, very strong place to accelerate out of. But Brainstew Domi, they did exactly what they needed to do. They got past Maka, who is now locked in combat with Freeware for 3rd place. And this is not good for either of them because it gives the Super Soft runners, who might struggle with tire wear towards the end of the race, great time to just run away, build a great gap. Polypunk, Jose Manuel, it's not been a good start to the sprint race for him. The Spaniard has been involved in 2 incidents already of pretty gargantuan proportions. Now, as they come to the final sector, Jose is ahead, and now, well, Polypunk, he got a little bit of a look up the inside from Williams. Eric, back row, they exchange. This is Freeware. Freeware, where is he?
It's spun. It's spun out of the final corner. I'm not sure what happened, but he's back at the back now. I was about to say that Brainstew and Domi had the perfect start for that safety car restart. They got ahead of Maka, which is important. And I'd say actually Maka and Freeware got the worst case scenario because they ended up fighting and costing themselves both time before Freeware's unfortunately spun. And both races have not been good for the Germans so far. And we'll see if he can pull back on the field, but he is not going to be happy with how things have played out tonight, but we'll see what Brainstew can do. He needs to try and get as far ahead of Domi and Maka as possible, because we'll see if these tyres do sort of struggle at the end of this stint, but I think maybe the safety car life has definitely helped him keep those tyres fresh. But once again, Brainstew, absolute masterclass so far. He's absolutely dominated that first race. He's up to P2 through all the trouble of the start of this race, and he's now ascended to his rightful place in P1.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning as well that he's already, with his antics today, generated a huge gap, or closing the gap down to Maka in that championship. 2 rounds to go after this one, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. And right now for the Italian, as he picks up fastest lap, that extra point could be crucial as well. But he has been racking in the points, and DRS is back on the menu here. The problem is, no one really going to be able to use it. We've got Williams and Polypunk here. They're fighting Eric and Jose Manuel. They'll both have it on the cars ahead. And here goes Polypunk looking around the outside as they go down towards turn 1. Can he find it in the car in around the outside? Later on the brakes, though, is Williams. The SMP takes too much on the inside there. Bumps over the grass. Still side by side, but I don't think he's going to find the traction here, especially on the older, on the fresher tire. No, he's on the old tires. It's Polypunk with the fresher. He does find it though, and Carlin slips back into the slipstream and has to cut his losses and stick with 8th place for now.
Yeah, it's a good little battle that. Like I said, Williams did take probably a bit too much in turn 1, but used wonderful traction to get back at Polypunk. But Polypunk now is trying to get back at him through into the S's, but he'll probably just sit there and have another go into turn 1 in the next lap. This is probably the key battle going on at the moment. Only the top 8 get points in this race as well, to mention. So this is for the final points. With Freeware's actually gained up on the back of it now, so we've got a little 3-car battle for this final point position.
Yeah, and they do have the benefit of DRS as well. Jose Manuel, the Super Softs, he needed to get a few more positions on that first few laps than he did. Now, though, DRS does that help him. The Spaniard now hunting down what I do believe is his fellow countryman Eric ahead of him. Both going side by side down into turn 1. They're not on the racing line. Eric switches back to the outside to find it. Manuel on the inside, side by side through 2. Eric picks up a penalty there as he cuts turn 2, and his third warning for him. There you can see him looking. Pops out of the Spaniard slipstream now, side by side once more as they go down towards turn 4, and it's Eric ahead, and he is well and truly ahead than the Campos racing car. And there he goes up into P5. Great move. And for Jose, he needs to start getting his foot down, otherwise he is going to lose out big time in the last few moments. Williams still all over the gearbox of Polypunk, not able to find a way through there either. And
while you're watching Eric get a move on Jose, Freeware has managed to get both Polypunk and Williams into turn 1. So Freeware now in 7th, and he's trying to hunt down Jose. But like I say, Jose really needed to use those super softs life in those first couple of laps, and I wonder now whether he can get back. We have a yellow flag in sector 3.
I think it was Domi. He's dropped off substantially, and now Maka all over him.
Yeah, that it possibly was. I mean, like I say, he's dropped back, and Maka's right on the rear of him now. He's going to probably get a move into turn 1. He hasn't actually got DRS though, so obviously it's all happened after the DRS detection point. But he's absolutely swung it around the outside here, and he's going to keep it on the inside into turn 2. Domi's still there. Will Maka manage to hold on the outside? And they are going to drag race down to 4. Neither have got DRS, so it's a straight drag race now. So it's going to come down to what wing settings they're running. I think Maka's got the advantage, but Domi will hope to switch back onto turn 5. And he is. This is going all the way to the wire here. I mean, who's going to give? No one's giving. Domi with a big barge into Maka. Wow, Domi managed to hang on just as they head into the S's now. So I assume they'll calm down, and Maka will try and set up a move again after the stadium section. That was intense racing there.
And it's good news to the man at the front of things as well, because not only is he extending his gap, he picked up a 3-second time penalty while they were side by side, so it gives him a bit more of a buffer there if he picks up another. Also, his championship rivals stayed behind the Hungarian and brought Backrow into the thick of things too, but Backrow has a penalty, so you don't expect to see him do too much here in terms of taking away points. But Rainstew needs Maka to lose to Domi here, but it's going to be difficult for Domi to stay, ahead of him now with the tyres. They'll be switching over soon. Domi already switching to the inside, trying to break that slipstream there, and this gearbox issue still plaguing the Prima for us in the spectator view. But here he goes. He's swinging all over the place. He moves left. He swings right up on the inside of turn 1. And as such, he's just scrubbed off too much speed, I think, compared to Domi. But late on the brakes into 3. He's going to try it. And Domi on the outside, still finding traction where there really isn't a lot. But now the DRS of the Prima, you can see it on board here. Late on the brakes, the outside of 4. It's a great place to go for it. Do the Superstars have anything to afford Domi here? If he can stay on the outside of 6 until the end of it. Look at the traction there. He's still got it around the outside of 6. Domi needs to hang on, but he gets forced wide. And Backrow here. Oh, there's contact between the two. Domi struggled to hang on to the car there. And now he has to stop the car. He is dropping down the order. And that is Maka up into 2nd place. And it looks like that is a done deal. My goodness.
Wow. I was about to tell you that Backrow had the popcorn to all that, and unfortunately it all got spilt on his lap as he got caught with Domi's spin. That's Eric. Unfortunate for both drivers.
On the inside into 12, and whoa, that's a bit deep, and Jose Manuel comes straight back as they go into the hairpin. Great there. And, well, Backrow, I don't know if he got any damage there from Domi's collision with him. That's Polypunk.
He is missing an end plate, unfortunately, but...
Oh, look at this. There's 2 cars here. It's Polypunk Williams side by side with Domi watching on board. And now, I think someone that spilt popcorn is into his lap, because he certainly got it here to Polypunk and Williams. But the drag race to the line, Eric and Jose Manuel, they're exchanging up at the front. And, well, they're still side by side. They've got Freeware over the rear of them. And it's side by side. Can Freeware get the traction here? The German alongside, it's 3 wide now. On the penultimate lap, Jose Manuel, he backs out those super softs, not giving him any love anymore. He is really struggling there. But Freeware and Eric, they are side by side. Freeware drops down into 5th. He's trying to find a way past the Spaniard here. The German in between the 2 fellow countrymen around the outside of 6th. There's not a lot of space on the outside there. He just about manages to find his way onto the track again. And the German on the inside here doesn't get past, and he spins freeware. And he has had such a bad evening. He has just not had the best run in this game. He'll be glad that there's a new one coming out in a month or so time, because he has not had the season he would have been hoping for, whether it be in the F1 cars or indeed in the F2 cars here this evening. He has been struggling big time, but he is still in the points. He does have a penalty though. Domi, penalty free. Does this mean he could finish ahead of his fellow tier 1 driver? The super softs though really making his life difficult. Brain Stew is on the final lap. Lap 14 of 14. We had 20 in the first race, 14 here, and it's all come down to this one. And it is pretty broken up at the front, but here for the final few points, it is a 3-way fight. Freeware sort of out of it, but the penalty might drag him straight back in. So we'll see what happens there. Let's have a look just to make sure it is just 3 seconds. It's 6 actually. So Domi, well, it was 6. Oh, it was 3. It's now 6. He's just picked up that 3 seconds. That's bad news there for Freeware, because that will cost him to Domi. It shouldn't cost him to Polypunk, but if something goes wrong for the German, it just might. And it has been an evening of things going wrong. And well, you can definitely include Freeware in that pile of names. Brain Stew, well, he's into the final sector, and the Italian, for him, it has been quite the evening here. Williams has lost a lot of time to Freeware. Freeware trying to extend that gap, and that shouldn't mean too much for Domi there. Shouldn't be too much trouble for the Univirtuosi, provided he doesn't spin once more. Well, Freeware's off. Brain Stew will win, but Freeware, oh, he nearly slides back into the track. It is Brain Stew who wins. Maka will come home in P2, and that's the best he could do here. His championship lead, I think, still on, given that he came into this with about a 30-point lead. But Brain Stew has done a lot of damage to that today. Back row crosses 3rd. Eric, his teammate for the evening, finishes 4th. Jose Manuel, well, he comes home in 5th with a podium in the first race. Not a bad evening, and a great recovery drive for him. He's been in a couple of incidents in this sprint race, but it's been up and down for everyone. Williams crosses 6th. Domi, well, he crosses the line backwards and still gets him. There goes Polypunk past for 8th. And Freeware, well, he crosses the line in 9th place. What a dramatic evening of racing. We'll get the results in just a moment, but JA, what are your thoughts on those couple of races we just watched?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of action, plenty of argy-bargy. Wonderful races. Brain Stew, double win, absolutely superb. So it was a lot of, basically, like I said, you got your bang for your buck tonight. There was a lot of action. For this grid size, they put on a great show over 2 races. Wonderful evening of racing around Mexico for F2.
Well, the Italian flag waves once more here above the top step. It is Brain Stew. 2 wins once more for him. A great evening of racing for him. 8th to 1st. He started 8th, of course, because the reverse front 8, as a result of the first race. A great run from him. Maka as well, 7th to 2nd. 2nd twice for him too. So they make, you know, a great dynamic duo up at the top step. Back row, what a race from him. 9th to 3rd. Eric, 12th to 4th. It's been a race for huge improvement. Jose Manuel, well, despite his incidents, he finds a position as well. He started 6th. He finishes 5th. Not quite the 3rd place he got in the first race, but still a strong finish. Domi gets a few points from coming 10th to 6th. Williams drops from 2nd all the way down to 7th, where he finished that first race. And Polypunk drops from 5th to 8th in the Carlin to pick up the final point there. Freeware, with that dramatic spin, finishes 9th. Linus, well, he crashed into a stationary car of Civics under the safety car, so neither of them finished the race. And, well, Jack 5 caused that safety car with that early retirement, I do believe. But with that being said, let's get a quick look at the overall results. Brain Stew, a 16-point gap over Maka, and that closes his championship fight down by over half. It was 30 points coming into this. I do believe it's now going to be 14, which gives him a lot of opportunity to overtake and win in the last 2 rounds ahead of the Welshman. Jose Manuel, well, he comes 3rd with 21 points ahead of Backrow, who just narrowly beats out Polypunk by a singular point, 14 points and 13 points apiece. Civics, he gets 10 points. Linus and Williams and Eric all finished with 8th place, and I don't get to see the rest of the results because we've been timed out here. But What an evening of racing that what is here from the F2. Any last words, Jay, before we round up the stream?
Like I said, just congratulations about Brain Stew. 2 wonderful races. Totally controlled it from the front and literally wait to get through that carnage in the second race. And I'd say congratulations to all the drivers because they did put on a good show for us tonight. So it's an enjoyable evening.
Absolutely. Not too many drivers, but plenty of action there in both races here in F2. F2 will, of course, be back on the YouTube same time, same place next Sunday, where we will be tackling Brazil, the Interlagos circuit. But before that, we have all of the other Misfits action to precede it throughout the week, kicking off on Tuesday over on the Twitch channel. That'll be Tier 3 with Strithium and Alex Biddo, who, of course, was replaced today, last minute by Jay Games. So big thank you, Jay, for, coming through and commentating with me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. And as well, a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for a sim racing rig, wheel stand, or motion sim, check them out over on their website. The link is down in the description below. They're doing brilliant things for the sim racing community, and we're very thankful for it. And of course, if you're not subscribed over here, like the stream. It helps us out a ton for all the racing replays, guides, highlights, that kind of thing. We posted all here on our YouTube channel. And a massive shout out to everyone who's watched along as well. It's been very fun to commentate an action-packed race, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. But that's it. It's the YouTube, so obviously we can't raid anyone. We will hit you with the outro. But thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your evening.
We are back. We are back with some Tier 1 action.
And that is the AlphaTauri of Adrian straight head on into the Red Bull. And the Kai Bacchini has joined the party, and he's on these medium compound tires in the Merc. This very late braking from the Ferrari. He locks up and he blocks Zamis. And who is that? That is Jean with a fantastic exit, and he is going to get ahead of both of them here. So I believe it's crossing the line now, checkered flag. Adam and Bajarin, the first 2 to catch it early. Vettel now rounding the final 2 turns of 22 and 23 here in Singapore. The Racing Points collect the 1-2. Battery, there goes Ben the Bear now just ahead, taking the checkered flag, coming through the Casio triangle. It's still wheel to wheel between these two. Mick out with a great traction. Oh, what a run out of the chicane, and he gets it done. How's the exit for the Ferrari? Good so far. You can see wheel to wheel coming down the straight into turn 4. It's the Ferrari leading through. Ben, wheel to wheel now with Revo, and he has so much pace in this Racing Point right now. It's wheel to wheel between these two. How's somebody gonna go? He's drifted off. Does the exit? What an exit out of the Williams. Does he get him? There's a big snap. Looking on the inside of 8 and 9. It's the Mercedes coming around the outside of 9. Does he get this move done on Tim? This is huge. This is absolutely massive. A drag race coming through 10 now, down into 11. Here we go, and Zamis has the popcorn.
But Yukio tries to turn in, and Domi just says,
oh, the Stars.
Goes for a second.
What a move from the Stars. That is the Renault of Van Putten up the inside of the Williams into turn 1. Freeware's gonna get Yoda. Freeware's gonna get Yoda.
Yoda wins the race!